Ninja and Flannel. Today I have something super cool that I've been excited about for a while, and that is thermal. So we're gonna jump right on into it because we have a lot to talk about. Now, what we've got here is from Armasight. Huge thank you to them for sending this out to the channel for us to try out and review. Very cool of them. Now, this is from Armasight, like I said, and this is the 640 Sidekick thermal. Very cool. So we're gonna start out just doing the regular unboxing, and then we'll move on into more detailed stuff. So in the box, we've got a box, per usual. Then we've got instructions on the different button layouts and how they work, what functions they perform. Dang, one page, that's a good sign. Simple, easy to remember. Nice little case it comes with. Nothing in the front pouch. All right, extra parts. Cool thing about this, so this runs on a CR123 battery, and it actually comes with an adapter, so you can actually use two at once or an 18650 for better battery life, which is actually really awesome. So here's that. Here's our parts, stickers and patches per usual. Now, let's look at this bad boy. So now we're gonna dig into some of the finer details of this thermal, and if you don't like reading this real deep information, you can skip ahead, but if you're buying a thermal like this, you're probably gonna wanna know some of this stuff. You can read it yourself, but I'll give you a good head start in it. So this, it's got a refresh rate of 60 Hertz, which is really nice. It keeps your image very smooth when panning around. You don't feel like you turn your head and then it catches up. It pans along with you pretty well, which is really nice. Detection range, it says 709 meters to detect a human-sized target. For detection, recognition at 177 meters, and 111 meters for identification, which is pretty sweet. 15 millimeter eye relief. Now, field of view, it's got a decent field of view. I'm pretty happy with that. And that is 24.16 by 17.37 field of view. Not too shabby. I think it's honestly pretty decent. Like you can walk around and you don't feel like you're looking through a keyhole, if that makes sense. It's got a 1 to 4 power zoom built into it. You'll see a little later how I feel about the zoom. Pretty cool. Diopter is -5 and +5. And this is an interesting one. On one CR123A battery, you got about an hour and a half of battery life. And with two of them, you get more than that. Pretty cool. So another feature, it'd be the memory storage. So you can't seem to put any SD cards or anything like that in here, which is probably smart. It's one less point where you can get water in it and stuff like that. However, this will hold 4 hours of memory, which is actually pretty decent. 4 hours of memory, that's actually a lot. So 4 hours of memory is pretty sweet. Moving on, it's an IP67 environmental rating. That is nice. And then the thing weighs right about a half pound. So it's about 0.53 pounds. So that's a good estimate if you have other devices mounted to your helmet and you got counterweights and stuff like that. You can plan for about a half a pound once it's all said and done. Now, reading through these specs, I think I hit all of the useful ones off of here. There's a lot of other ones you can check out, like the type of display screen and things like that. But I think I touched on the most important ones right off the bat. Now, the nice thing is you also have a USB-C port in the front, like we talked about before, for uploading and downloading videos, stuff like that. And then you can use it for external power source, which I'm sure is very nice. Back into some more of the regular details. We've got multiple color palettes, 3-button controls. Let's see here, image detail enhancement. That's a pretty cool feature. We'll look at that later on while we're going through the tutorials. Dovetail mini rail included for helmets. Pretty nice right here, mounting system. And then it's also works with a Raven Group modular bridge mount for mounting with the PVS-14. So I actually have one of these right here. So this right here bolts right into the top, and then you can have it, this is backwards. This right here bolts right into the top, and you can have it mounted with your PVS-14. Good to go. Thermal in one eye, night vision in the other. Pretty sweet. I'm a huge fan of that setup. It's pretty neat. It's cool that you can do video recording, like we said before, for 4 hours, as well as image capture. Kind of cool. Built-in compass, battery status indicator. Composite body and ergonomic design. Designed, assembled in the USA. That's sweet right there. So that's pretty much all the on-paper details. I don't usually read these type of details on my channel, if you couldn't tell. But I figured for something like this, where details are basically everything, I would go through it. And with the link in the description that goes to this, you'll be able to read through these yourself and get any other specs you're looking for. All right, next, we're gonna get all mounted up on the helmet next to the PVS 14. Then we can go take a little walk and see how she looks out in the field. Now, what I'm planning on doing is I will put my my recorder on my night vision and the thermal at the same time. We can walk around and we can compare side-by-side images and what it looks like looking through just a regular green phosphorus night vision device and the thermal. So she's all set. Let's take a little walk and see how it goes. All right, so we're gonna go over all the settings for this Armasight 640 Sidekick. So we're gonna start on white hot here. Now, we got white hot, you have 3 buttons. Now there's a middle button, a back, and a forward. So to switch your different settings, you hold the forward one down and it'll switch. So we've got black hot, again, rainbow, target mode, and sepia. Now for reference, these are my chickens and they're a little chicken around at 20 yards. So I'm just gonna kind of watch them. You guys can watch them walk around as I go through the settings. Now hold the forward button again. Back to white hot where we started. Same button in forward. You click it down, it'll zoom, which is, it's pretty fuzzy, but you can still look at stuff. I don't think it gives me anything more too much after the first 2 clicks. It gets a little too ridiculous, but it's nice that it has the feature, so pretty neat. Now, moving into the settings. Now, after the first button, those are the main functions, zoom and switching settings. The middle button, click it down, pulls up a menu over here for different preset modes, forest, detect, indoor, sky and sea. And these all change. You can kind of look in the background how it changes the hues and how textures are. Some of them are better for navigating than others, although I don't recommend this device for navigation. Click your center button again, it goes out of that setting, moves on to the next, which is brightness. Very important, so when you're shooting in the dark, this is very bright at your eye, so it's nice that you can turn it down. Last one is the GUI rotate on auto, so when you flip this over, mounting it in different ways, it stays oriented the right way to see your menu. To exit these menus, hold down the center button. Now, the second menu, you hold the button again in the middle, opens up this side. Now this side has more details. Enhancement, you can go in and mess with your contrast, which actually does quite a bit. You'll see the brightness of the chicken's changing as we go down with it. Pretty interesting. I actually like to keep the contrast pretty high. As you see, they're much crisper and clear at 25. After that, you've got your sharpness, brightness again, and then you've got gamma and gain. Now gain, similar to the contrast, will actually is how much heat signature is picked up. Gain is good for adjusting. If you're out in the daytime with this, a lot of the heat from the sun can trick you. So turning it up too high in the sun, you can see the heat on the ground. So it's nice to leave it about 5 is where I found that I like it. Got auto for the shutter mode, and then you've also got a PIP enhancement. So there is the first bar. Hold the button to close that menu in the middle. Preview, see the videos and photos you've taken. Compass, settings, which has horizontal and vertical orientation of your viewport in the middle here. You can try to adjust to line it up with your night vision, which I was unsuccessful in doing. Format memory, reset to factory settings. Hold the center button to go back, and then this is just about this device, all that stuff. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward controls. The rear button, you click it one time to record videos, hold it down to take photos. Now you may notice every now and then there's a 5-second countdown. That's kind of like a recalibration for the heat signatures. You'll notice sometimes your image is getting fuzzy. After those 5 seconds, it looks much clearer. Just looking down my property, you can kind of see with the white hot what these look like. There's someone on a bike. They're probably 70, 80 yards away, something like that. Did not know they were there before, so pretty sweet that this picked them up. Move to black hot. See the roads look glowing rainbow. Target mode, sweet. You can spot all kinds of stuff. Chickens are glowing real good. But quite honestly, I think sepia is the most useful for me. I actually hear more people coming up. We got a nice visual. Yeah, pretty sweet. Like, you can spot someone from a good ways away with this. It gets rated to spot heat signatures out to like 700 yards, something like that. Pretty neat how far away you can pick stuff up. Here's my dogs to greet me. What's up, boys? Got Harvey and Lupin. Don't trip me, dog. I can't see that well. They're tripping over my kid's tricycle. Pretty interesting. Sepia mode. Now this is where I can see the best. It seems that in sepia mode, I can navigate the yard decent. I mean, this is not by any means the way you're gonna wanna run. If you're going really slow, checking your path and walking, you could do it. I mean, this is better than nothing out in the yard. Let's go throw this frisbee. Let's see this glowing hot slobber on it. That's fun. Get it, boy. Pretty neat. I'm probably gonna step in dog crap. Hope you guys appreciate that. But yeah, pretty interesting system. This would not be my first choice of a device for seeing in the dark. I think just a basic PVS 14 would be better to start. But as far as spotting like stuff, this is pretty good. What you boys doing? So here's a good example of why you don't want too much gamma. So here's my my blacktop driveway here, and it is glowing like crazy. So if we go into, we're in white hot. If we go into our settings, go down to gamma, turn it all the way up, things get really bright. So I feel like if something walked in this area, it's gonna be so washed out you wouldn't be able to see it. That's why I like to keep it a little lower, about 5. Keep things a little more simple and more legit. So as you can see, this thing is super cool and has a decent amount of uses. For me personally, it doesn't quite fit my exact shooting style, stuff like that. But what I feel like it's really good at is spotting as a handheld, or mounting on your helmet like I have it, and then basically flipping it down, scanning the horizon, see what's around, flipping it back off and using your PVS 14 again, flipping it down, scanning, because it's not really something that you're going to be shooting from. So I found a pretty good use for that. I don't do any hog hunting because the region where I live, or coyote hunting, and I usually only am shooting steel or paper targets. So for me, not the most useful thing in my exact situation what I do, but I can see where there's a lot of situations where it would be useful. But for the same money, for me, I'd probably go through Armasight and just buy a set of dual white phosphorus, sell this whole setup. That might be what I end up doing in the future. But yeah, it's pretty sweet. If you live in the regions, especially where you'll be doing a lot of predator hunting and hogs and stuff like that, I can see this being very, very useful. So pretty cool. Check out the link in the description and you can see where you can read more fine details or purchase one for yourself. And hope you enjoy the review. Farewell.